Yeah, 45 years of living in France and now 3 years in Corsica has taught me a lot about integration. Driving down the village, saying hi to people that I know, and that's what village life is all about. You know, it's kind of like the community, talking to people. So it's kind of like a nice feeling. I don't know, something about it that I really like, living in a village compared to living in a sort of city. And well, the south of France, where I used to live, which was Le Canet, which was part of Cannes. It was like the suburb of Cannes, but on the hill, a really nice residential area and all that. But you had like the feeling you were in a big town, a big city, because basically the whole of the south of France is kind of joined up as an urban area. There's no between Cannes and Nice and Monaco. There's no real break of like urbanism. So it's like being in a big city. But anyway, yeah, 45 years of living in France and now 3 years in Corsica has taught me a lot about integration. We see a lot about, we hear a lot about migrants and immigrants and stuff like that, and to actually be in the shoes of an immigrant is quite different, you know. I mean, people say expats. I don't like the expression expat because it kind of makes us feel like, you know, because we're expats we're superior or something. It's not. We're migrants, we're immigrants basically, migrants from our own country and the immigrants from you know, in the country itself. Is that the way it works? Yeah. Anyway, so being an immigrant, I'm a member in the 80s. You had to have a work permit and a resident permit, and it was quite difficult to get because it was like a situation, right? You couldn't get a work permit if you didn't have an address, right? And you couldn't get an address if you didn't have a job. So like you kind of go, you know, you try and get an apartment. Have you got a job? No. So you can't have the apartment, and then you try and get like a, you know, residency. And have you got where you're living? I haven't got an apartment. Oh, you can't get a residency. You can't get a residency permit. So it was really complicated. I can't remember how I got it. I think I was working somewhere where I got an apartment on trust basically, and you know, it was I managed to get the work permit for. I got a 10-year. What they call carte de séjour. So, but when I used to go and get the work permit, you used to queue up with all the other foreigners, and being foreign yourself, you're a foreigner, and you queue up with all the other immigrants, and you kind of realise that you're an immigrant. You know, before you used to be, you know, English, and then there was foreigners, and you were English, and you weren't a sort of an immigrant. You know what I mean? And to be in an immigrant's shoes and be treated like an immigrant is quite, yeah. I mean, the English and the French have never been best of friends, have they? Really, in history. So you know, they weren't friendly towards the English at all back in the day. It was quite, yeah, it was quite novel. So I learned how to integrate, and the language thing was very important. I think if you're in a country, if you learn the language to a level where you're more or less the same as the people, you know, your level is the same as the French sort of people, you wouldn't have obviously the accent and that straight away, but you would kind of, if you could blend in. I did the maximum to blend in. I think I was kind of like, people used to say to me, oh, you're not French, you know. They didn't see. In the 80s and 90s, people did not realise I was English because my French was so fluent and integrated. But I made such an effort not to have an accent. It was tiring, and I can't say even today I have a massive accent. People kind of see it, but I'm much more relaxed about it now. I'm not bothered about it as I used to be. So I kind of like, changing gear. I'm putting it on manual, so. To sort of like rev up the car a bit, because with automatic cars you get the silencers and all that get get really clogged up if you don't push it a bit. So, and then it won't pass the pollution test when I do the MOT, but it's passed it anyway, so I'm okay now. I did that. But sometimes I do it because sometimes I get a bit of a stutter. But anyway, that's mechanics. Yeah, so it's an interesting thing, living that concept, you know. And 45 years of living here has taught me a lot, you know, a lot about integration and a lot about learning other cultures and just funny examples. There was one example I remember. An English guy was at the airport, and he bought a drink, right, and we were at the bar in the airport. It's in Nice. And the English guy, I was next to him, he didn't know I was English, and I was just listening, I was just watching, observing the situation. And he wanted to pay straight away his drink, right? And the barman just put the thing down, his little, you know, like a little dish with the ticket, and walked off. And he was there, he was about to pay him, and because he walked off, he went, look, he's just walked off, I want to pay him, you know, yeah, he refuses my money. And then the other guy sort of looked at him and said, you know, you don't pay straight away, you pay, you know, you pay afterwards, you pay when you're finished, you know. So you got like a tab. If you're having like 10 drinks, then you got 10 tickets and you pay at the end, you know what I mean? It's a culture thing, you know. Whereas in England, at the bar, you pay your drink straight away and that's it, and you come back and you pay another one, yeah. And so he was upset because the guy walked off, and the barman got upset because he was like ranting on. And so I was, and they both didn't really he didn't speak that much English, and the other guy didn't speak much French, or didn't speak any. And it was just a very typical kind of situation where the total misunderstanding of you know, of culture, you know. And there's so many examples like that where the French and the English have different ways of doing things, and that annoy people that, you know, they kind of like get upset with it. And it's just, if you know that, then, you know, you don't get upset. So yeah, it's just things like that I've learned over the years. I'll try and find some more examples, but for now that's the only example I found. There are loads of examples, but you know, we'll see them. There's another thing with the there's a thing which is dangerous, right, compared to England, is that here they have, when you have traffic lights, they've got zebra crossings underneath, but you're still meant to stop and wait for it to go green or red for, you know, a pedestrian crossing. Whereas in England, they don't have the zebra crossing. They just have like these metal bits going across. This is what they call clou in French. They call it passage clouté, and basically it's just like cat's eyes going across. They're not cat's eyes, but they look like them. But anyway. And so when English people come over here, they see a zebra crossing and they step out, even if it's a traffic light. And the French people are coming along really fast, and it's green, yeah, and it's green for them, and it's a traffic light, but it's got a zebra crossing underneath. But that doesn't mean you can cross the road. You've still got to wait for it to go green or red for you to stop or cross, yeah. And so I've seen people step out and nearly get run over because there's this stupid thing of putting a zebra crossing at a traffic light. Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, and in England they haven't got that. That's a good thing, a point for England, you know what I mean? They should take those zebra crossings away in France. The French people know automatic, they don't care, they know about it. But the English, when they come on holiday, they don't. And they, maybe other countries as well, and that's really dangerous, you know. So yeah, it's another culture thing that people don't realise. And yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this quick video about my life in Corsica. If you're interested, subscribe and like and all that, and come back for more, and I will see you soon. Ciao.